Welcome back, it's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a 2-page fall layout using the Acorn Lane collection from Simple Stories. This is a newer collection. I think it got it last fall. And I absolutely love it and wanted to continue to dig into it. And so I continued documenting some fall photos. This one here is going to be apple picking as a family. And I wanted to bring in quite a few different pattern papers. So I am going to have that brown paper kind of in the middle of the page. And then I have this pink paper to go all the way across the page. And I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos on this layout. So I printed out a couple of smaller ones that I wanted to kind of stack on top of each other on page 2. So that is why I brought in that other pattern paper, kind of that burnt orange paper with the light pink flowers. I'm going to incorporate that, and that's going to kind of be the, I guess, base for the 2 smaller photos. You'll see what I'm talking about, I guess, as the video progresses. So instead of using up a whole sheet of that brown paper, I cut it into strips. So I just made sure that, it ended up between the pink paper and the brown paper. It was 12 inches, if that makes sense. So I think one of them, I don't know, I am not getting straight cuts with my paper trimmer. I have used this kind for the longest time, and I have just now noticed recently that it's just not cutting straight. And so I don't think I set out in the beginning to add another pattern, but I don't think one of them, I don't think they line up properly, and there's some white showing. And so that kind of then made me decide to cover that up with another pattern paper. And so I ended up using kind of this mustard yellow plaid paper. I really do like the way that looks, especially because as the video progresses, you will notice that my photos kind of cover up a lot of that light pink paper, unfortunately. So adding that, I guess, barrier, that mustard yellow paper, just ended up working out well in the end all the way around. So I did kind of cut those just in smaller strips. I just had those come over to meet up with that burnt orange paper. But then I decided I wanted the mustard yellow to look like it was kind of a border around that pink paper. So what I ended up doing is actually just adding another strip. I made sure to go behind, I guess, the horizontal strips. So I went behind that on the top and the bottom. Looking at the final product, I do end up actually covering up both of those corners, but I think they lined up good enough that I could have gone ahead and just left it, and you wouldn't really have noticed that it was pieced together. So here are my photos. Again, I am using the 6 of them. I think I did trim them down just a little bit, and then backing all of them in just white. I didn't double back any of them. I thought the white was sufficient and helped them stand out from all of the pattern papers enough that I didn't need yet another pattern paper. That's the kind of part of my reasoning too, that, I already have 4 pattern papers. I don't really need a 5th. To back my photos. The white kind of tones down maybe the busyness of the layout. So the photos are just going to go straight across. Well, the 4 are going to go straight across the page, and then the smaller 2 are going to be stacked on top of each other on that rust colored paper. I could have probably even done smaller photos on the right hand side, but it is what it is now looking back. But again, a lot of the pattern papers ended up getting covered up. So that is kind of a bummer. I don't like wasting paper, and I wish I would have kind of realized ahead of time that, hey, your photos are going to cover up a lot of it. Now that I have the photos down, I'm going to get to embellishing. I needed a title and decided this chipboard sticker here that says Hello Autumn was perfect. I liked how it filled in that white space a little bit. It wasn't super bold for a title, but really like the way that that looks. And then I decided to use the chipboard pieces down at the bottom, and you can see I kind of had them hovering more so towards the photo, but I think I realized that I could cover up the corner where I pieced that together. And I like the way that that ends up looking, that little tag and then the fox. So I really do like the cluster there. I did have to pop that fox up on some foam tape because both pieces are chipboard. So in order to kind of lay flat, I guess, and make sure that they do stick, I had to add some foam tape. But there was a gap in between the two, and so I ended up going into, I think, the sticker sheet, and just found some leaves. So just tucked those behind that, and that's just going to finish off that cluster. Just a simple cluster, but I really do enjoy the way that that turned out. I had to kind of figure out then what to do, I guess, for page 2, where to embellish. I obviously just now remembered I have a lot of fall themed flares from Scrap and Happy Studio, and a lot of them actually match the colors of this collection. So it is a goal of mine, because I have so many flares, to kind of dig into those as often as I can. I think I love the flares. And yeah, I just have such a big stash that more often than not, at least one of them is on one of my layouts. So in this collection, there is an ephemera pack that is all florals, and I don't always love, I guess, florals for fall. I don't know. I'm more leaves, and maybe it's just because of where I live. It's just leaves. We don't have flowers in the fall. Oh, I guess mums. You have mums, but you know. But usually I tend towards the leaves. However, I do believe this is for my album, and so I decided to go gung-ho with the floral clusters and the floral ephemera. So I add a large floral ephemera piece to the bottom. Add some kind of leaves to that too, some greenery. And then I kind of piece together the cluster at the top. So a little floral cluster, an extra flower, a little bird, and then I am using that canvas flare that says autumn is in the air. I love how the colors match so perfectly. Again, don't usually use mushrooms for my fall layouts either. Again, where I'm raised, mushrooms are more of a spring thing for us with morels. But again, just trying to use up a lot of the different pieces in the collection. Try to maybe challenge myself using up what I don't usually. So the mushrooms, the flowers, and the animals. I included that little fox and some birds in this layout. So I do like the way that all of the embellishment clusters turned out. Again, just not usually my cup of tea, I guess you could say. But it is good to challenge yourself, especially when you do this often and do create for so long. It's good to challenge yourself to kind of step out of the box a little bit. I don't do it often. A lot of my layouts are clean lines. I will dabble in mixed media here and there, but I do just really like the clean lines. And so that's more so what I tend to stick to, but making little challenges like using up the ephemera pieces that you don't usually use are kind of fun sometimes to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this layout. I will link the Acorn Lane collection down below if you are interested. It is such a beautiful fall collection, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.